Hello, I'm Carolyn Blacksoter, and welcome to Kaleidoscope, your guide to the arts in Harford County. The arts unify communities, and here on Kaleidoscope, we keep you up to date on the county arts scene, highlighting local artists and organizers who are working to bring all of us together, making Harford County a better place to live and thrive. So, let's get started. Since 1953, the ARC Northern Chesapeake region has been helping people with differing abilities build better lives, one person at a time. With me to tell us all about this wonderful organization and their upcoming Sprout Film and Art Festival is Sean Cross, CEO of the ARC Northern Chesapeake region. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's get down to real basics, 101. The ARC Northern Chesapeake region. Tell me what that's all about.
So we support people with differing abilities to live, work, and thrive in their community. And it really is to help them live lives just like us. So to have friendships, to have work, and to have meaning in life.
Okay, now does ARC stand for something, ARC?
It doesn't. We're not an acronym anymore. Okay. And I know we try to tell people that we support people across the arc of their life.
Okay.
So from birth until the end.
All right.
And the only meaning for R now is respect.
Okay, so. That's nice. Now, you mentioned differing abilities. Can you give me a little bit more details of what that means?
Well, we like to focus on people's, the positive, the strengths that they have.
Right.
So we support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, but we like to focus on it being differing because we all have differing abilities.
Okay, so can you give me specifics on how you help folks, what ARC actually does in the community?
Sure. So we have a family support program who helps parents who have children or adult children to kind of find out how to raise their children.
Okay.
For adults who have differing abilities, we help them find employment. We help them find ways to give back to the community through, volunteering.
Right.
We also help them find a home that they would call their own.
Okay, all right. And then transportation, any of that kind of thing?
We do a lot of transportation all across Harford County. We help people get to their jobs. We help people come in and utilize community supports. And so there's a lot of transportation that the ARC does.
Yeah. So obviously you need as much help as you can get because you have a lot to do.
Yes.
So are you ever looking for people to get involved?
Oh, we're always looking for people, whether that is to come work for us or to come volunteer. And that volunteer can come to the building and support some of the administrative tasks, but most importantly would be to get to know some of the people that we support. And if you want to if you know how to play guitar and you want to teach somebody to play guitar, if you knit, if you want to read, teach somebody to read, all different levels. Also our events, you can get involved with helping us support our events.
Okay, well let's talk about your events because you have a big one coming up, the Sprout Film and Art Festival. So I have to ask, where does Sprout come from? What is that all about?
It was, I don't even know the actual backstory in regards to Sprout, but it's a New York group. It started in 1979, and it was to support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. It was kind of a camp experience, and they decided to do a film camp one year, and it led to some pretty amazing films being done. And the theory behind it is that if it's done about a person with an intellectual and developmental disability, that those actors and actresses actually do have that. But it's stories. They tell funny stories. There's times to laugh. There's also some very serious stories, but there's also just time to let people know.
Right.
So informational.
And the film part of this, you say some of them are 30 seconds, some of them are longer. It's a real mix of all kinds of things.
So there'll be a number of different films. There'll be some short ones and some a little longer, and there's an intermission in between.
Okay.
And all different flavors. And we have a group that chooses them, and I'm always amazed at the messages that come out of those films.
And then you include the other arts as well. There's visual arts, performing arts.
Yes, so the visual arts are going to be there at the beginning and during intermission and after, and it's a chance for people of all abilities to display their artwork.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
And then our performance is people that we support who are able to show their abilities in their performing.
Okay, so there we have the sign up there, November 13th from 5 to 8, and you say at a beautiful venue, Water's Edge Event Center.
It is a beautiful venue, yes.
Yeah, and there's the dancer you told me about. She performed at one of the other events, I guess, in past, and
she's last year, and she got a standing ovation.
Did she?
Yes.
Yeah. And then these are two artists,
Those
correct?
are two artists. Both of them are artists. This is a person we support that was enjoying the artwork.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's another artist.
Yeah. It sounds like looks like a lot of hugs at this event as well.
Oh, it's such a happy event, and you know, it is something that makes the evening go fast and very, very entertaining.
Terrific.
So.
We encourage people to go on the website. You can make your reservations there.
You can.
Okay,
yes.
terrific. All right. Well, thanks so much, and thanks for all the good work you're doing, Sean.
Thank you very much.
All right. Weatherly. It began as a band of musicians and has developed into much, much more, including a successful production studio and podcast. We'll meet the founders of Weatherly and learn about their perfect partnership later in the show. So don't go away. We'll be right back. October is National Arts and Humanities Month, a coast-to-coast celebration of the importance of culture in America, raising public awareness about the role the arts and humanities play in our communities and lives. In the words of Scottish philosopher Thomas Carlyle, music is well said to be the speech of angels. Today's guest is bringing a bit of angelic heaven here to Harford County through an incredible program that provides musical instruments to students in need. Here to tell us about Band Together and his passion for giving back to our community is musician Dan Houts, music program organizer and community liaison for Band Together, Inc. Good to see you.
Hi, thank you for having me today.
You bet. Okay, so let's hit the ground running. Band Together, tell me about that program because I know that it means a lot to you.
Band Together is an organization. It's run by music teachers. It's run by Harford County Public Schools faculty, Board of Ed members, and me. I'm a local musician.
Okay.
What we do, we have a large catalog of instruments that we have accumulated in the last 15 years, since 2004 when it was launched by our former president, Bob Powers, one of the music teachers. And what we do throughout the school year, we put instruments on loan for students in need. So if your family can't afford a trumpet or a violin, we may have one that we can loan to you throughout the year.
Yeah, because that often is sometimes a key factor. A kid will come out and say, I want to study the trumpet. And the parents say, well, sorry, we just don't have the money to rent one or buy one. So this makes all of that possible.
Exactly. It's a great opportunity to add to inclusion for the children. And with interested kids wanting to take part in the programs, this helps close the gap for those families.
Sure, absolutely. Now, you grew up in Harford County. You studied music when you were in high school. You were a trombonist, right?
Yes,
And
yeah.
so music was really important to you, right?
Yes,
when you were,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I guess that kind of helps you identify how important
Oh,
your
my
work
connection
is.
to Band Together goes very deep.
Yeah.
Brian Folis, who is the partnering founding member of Band Together, was actually my music teacher in fourth grade.
Oh my, okay.
So in the threads, I call him Mr. Folis, and he says, Dan, I'm not your teacher anymore. Let it go. And then also, my sister Julie House is a music teacher at Patterson Mill.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I can understand this now. All right, so there's a lot of good things. Band Together's been around for a while, but you're doing some new things that we should tell our viewers about. One is
Oh, yes.
having a website, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, since I have taken up this role as community liaison, I've been working on some ideas, and the group has got this great energy looking at the future and what Band Together is capable of. We've done a great thing so far, but we want to do more, and we want to build awareness about what we're doing,
Okay.
and we want to be able to continue to help but build.
Right.
And what we're doing now, we're launching, it's a store on a website called threadless.com,
Okay.
where you can buy merchandise to support Band Together without any cost to the charity.
Okay.
So we're not using our charity dollars or our donations to
To
create
make
merchandise.
mugs or T-shirts, they do that all for you.
Exactly.
But they take your logos and your artwork and they make so that we can wear it and be proud of it and help spread the word about all the work you're doing.
Exactly, and it does benefit Band Together because we get the profit off of those items.
Right. Okay. And we also had your website up, so I know you have a new website. But I also
right.
want to make sure we talk about all the work that you do at the Vagabond Sandwich Company. You have a
Oh, yes.
showcase about every 6 weeks.
It just about, so this series we run there, it's a songwriter showcase. Call it the Start Something Spotlight series.
Okay.
What we do, we have somewhere between 3 and 5 performers. You'll often see me there with my band. We're called Think Again. We play
Yeah, your hair is a
locally.
little longer there.
Yeah,
At least it
yeah, a
looks-
little bit. You know, it happens.
Yeah.
We play from time to time, but
Yeah.
we bring in musicians from all over the area.
Okay.
These musicians that I've networked with from years of playing out are always so happy to support such a great cause.
Right.
And to support keeping music in the lives of our children.
Right.
And keeping music in our schools.
Okay, so
'Cause-
this all goes back to the cause of Band Together. And then you're having the Sandwich Stock 19, which is on October 12th, which is
Yes.
kind of like the mother lode of these showcases. That's the whole community gets behind it, right?
Yes, it's a great opportunity. Again, I can't say enough great things about Ben Meyer and the folks at Vagabond Sandwich Company. They really let us take their space and do some crazy stuff. And Ben gets all kinds of involved when it comes to Sandwich Stock. This is their anniversary party. The first Sandwich Stock was celebrating their 3rd year anniversary, which is a big
Sure.
milestone for a local business.
And another great another great excuse to have this wonderful group of different musicians and then to raise money and our instruments really for Band Together. So I want to thank you, Dan, for all the good work you're doing. Thanks, and we'll see you at the big event on the 12th.
Thank you very much for
You
having
bet.
me.
And now on to an art of a different sort, horseshoeing. This traditional art form dating back to 400 BC combines art and science and requires skill, talent, knowledge, and experience. We recently caught up with local farrier Brandon Amos to learn more about this unique artistry and its importance to the equine community. Join us as we shine a light on Brandon Amos.
I love waking up in the morning. I love the smell of a horse. I love the sound of a hammer hitting a shoe on an anvil. There's nothing better to me. Farrier is the art of shoeing horses and balancing the horse's hoof. We're at Oldfield School. This is a place I come every week, once a week, maybe twice a week. I have to say, this is one of the best places anybody could ever work. I got into this 22 years ago. A gentleman by the name of Michael Van Oy changed my life. And I told him, I said, I really want to try that. I really want to go with you one weekend. He took me with him. We became best friends. We're still best friends to this day. And it's been the best thing I could have ever done. And I've had a chance to have an apprentice or two I had one who lasted a very long time with me, 3 years. She is now on her own, doing great. And that's what means the most to me, is to when you go somewhere, they see somebody helping a horse and you help that person get started. We'll pull the shoes off the horse if the horse has shoes on. We'll clean the foot up with a brush. We'll trim the hoof with a knife and nippers. We'll balance the foot with a rasp. We'll go pick the shoe that we need for that certain horse, put it in the fire, get it hot, shape it on the anvil, bring it to the horse's hoof, burn it onto the horse's hoof, which is what we call hot shoeing. It helps seal the horse's hoof back up. It shows me where the fit needs to be. Go cool the shoe, clean it up, rasp on it, or use a grinder to clean it up. And then we'll go and nail the shoe on, bring the foot forward, clinch the nails onto the foot to make sure the shoe stays. Where we're nailing and hot shoeing, there's no feeling in that part of the horse's hoof. Being a farrier making horseshoes are the same. Being a blacksmith and being a farrier are two different things. Being a blacksmith is ornamental, tools, weapons. Being a farrier is strictly working on horses and shoeing horses. The technique of shoeing horses, being a farrier, has not changed much. We still have to bend over and get underneath the horse. We still have to nail the shoes on. The only thing that changed is some of the material that we can use now, as far as gluing a shoe on, wrapping it in casting material. That's really the only thing in my mind that has changed. We're still using fire to heat shoes. We're using propane instead of coal when we're out in the field, because they used to use coal forges everywhere you went. Now we have these beautiful shoeing rigs that we call them, with everything you can think of in them. We shoe horses because people ride them. It's not like they are in the wild. We get on their backs, which is unnatural. We're putting extra weight on them. We're making them move a different way. So we want to keep them sound. Sound meaning not sore, not lame. And the ones that I'm doing are athletes. They're competing for a living. And just like human athletes, they need proper shoes for the conformation of their legs and their limbs. It's always growing, but it's staying the same in the same breath. We all work together for one thing, and that's for the horse. That's where the art comes in to me. Somebody shared it with me.
Look for a special Shine a Light On feature during every Kaleidoscope program. When we return, Kyle Reagan and Christopher Mooneyhan will be here to discuss how they're supporting local business and local music. But first, here's a glance at the County Arts Events calendar. Attention performing, visual, interdisciplinary arts, and music and film video artists. You are invited to submit a Baker Artist Portfolio. Artists who create portfolios are automatically eligible for one of 5 Baker Artists Awards, which include significant monetary prizes, an exhibition at the Baltimore Museum of Art, as well as a feature on Maryland Public Television's Artworks program. Visit bakerartist.org for more information. Nearly a decade after they first met, 2 Harford Countyans began a journey that would eventually lead to the perfect partnership. They formed the band Weatherly out of their mutual desire to find musicality, creativity, and individuality. But that was just the beginning. Here to tell us about the impact they're making on the local music scene are Kyle Reagan and Christopher Mooneyhan, who are writers, producers, and of course performers. Good to see you both.
All right, thanks for having us.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, so you've done a lot in the, and I think the relatively short time you've been together, you have made an album. Tell me about it.
Sure. Our album's called The Making Of. It is inspired out of the fact that we both had come from different musical backgrounds and different journeys, but we had a lot of songs that we had never been able to put together in a way that we wanted. And because we wanted to be able to put something out there that was representative of the type of work that we could do in the studio and that we could work with other artists with eventually, we made it a collection of songs that weren't necessarily genre specific.
Okay.
But it's our musical past put on one album.
How cool is that? So it was a real adventure for both of you, putting this album together, and you thought it might be interesting to other folks as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We prefer writing in the studio and working and producing music, so when we could take those older styles of songs and kind of put what we've learned in the history of us being musics to them, it worked out really well.
Right.
We got to add what was always missing.
Okay, and then you were able to document this whole process by starting your own podcast.
We did, the Weatherly Report.
Okay.
It started as just a documentation of how we were writing and what we were striving to achieve out of writing the album, and then turned into something entirely different.
Okay, so you started by documenting that whole process, but then you learned, the podcast began to expand its boundaries a bit.
Right. One of the things that we really wanted to accomplish with what we were doing as Weatherly was how could we benefit other artists, and specifically other artists in our community, people that needed help to get that first shot, help getting their first EP put out there or single put out there, started recording their music. So the podcast turned into a platform for us to help promote other artists within the region, other artists that we're working with in the studio, and to tackle different topics around the music business that would be relevant to newer performers.
Great, and you bring other artists onto the podcast, correct?
Yes.
Not only do you talk about kind of the business side of music and, you know, again, all the technical stuff that I guess you deal with in the studio, is you feature other artists on your podcast.
Yes, absolutely. We prefer, honestly, to have somebody besides ourselves on the podcast. We get tired of hearing ourselves talk all the time.
We do like to talk.
Yes. But having other artists in and giving them a platform to reach a different audience is of the utmost importance for us for the podcast. That's the primary purpose it serves now.
Now, I know you say you like performing in the studio better, but your altruistic efforts have gone beyond the studio and the podcast. You do some things here in the community as well.
We do. We like to perform anytime it's beneficial to the charity for us to perform, something that we can use all of our platforms to help promote and draw attention to.
Okay.
Like we have the Band Together's Sandwich Stock 19 coming up.
Okay.
We love doing charity events like that.
Okay, all right, so Band Together. Another one that I know that you've been involved in is Breathe 379.
Right, they're a local charity. They do Toys for Tots drives, food donation drives for the holidays coming up, anything to help service the community.
Okay, so you mentioned, Chris, about the Sandwich Stock 19. That's going to be held on what, October?
October 12th. It's a Vagabond Sandwich here in Bel Air.
Okay.
This is the 4th year they're doing it. I've performed at it for the last 4 years since its inception. Chris has done it the last 2.
Right.
It's a great time. It's a great community event. It helps benefit community businesses and primarily Band Together, which gets musical instruments in the hands of children that need them.
And what I was a little surprised when we were talking before coming on air, that not only do you perform at these charity events, but you help support other bands by providing sound or
Anything we can do to
That's
help
fantastic.
other musicians. That's basically what we want to do for the rest of our lives.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. And then, so if people want to find out more about you, your music, about your podcasts, about your songs, they can go to.
The podcast is available on any platform you download
Okay.
podcasts on. Our music is available on any platform. You can get that as well.
Okay.
But the primary place is to go to allthingsweatherly.com. There's links to all of our music.
Terrific. Well, I think you both are terrific, and it's great. You make music such a part of our lives, and you show the power of music and how it can create great friendships as well.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, there's more to come on Kaleidoscope, so don't go away. We will be right back. Welcome back to Kaleidoscope. As the government-appointed local arts agency, the Harford County Cultural Arts Board is the premier local resource for arts organizations, for artists, and for you, our county residents. The board's mission is to preserve, enhance, and promote the culture of Harford County, Maryland. We have great news. The Harford County Cultural Arts Board has received a $145,959 Community Arts Development Grant from the Maryland State Arts Council, ensuring statewide access to the arts. Funds regranted by County Arts Council serve artists, arts organizations, schools, and audiences. The Harford County Cultural Arts Board designates a portion of these funds to be used for arts and education grants that support local schools and other community-based nonprofits serving youth. The arts can be integrated into any subject, any theme, and at any developmental level. This grant program enhances the learning experience by utilizing the talents, skills, and creativity of Maryland-based professional teaching artists. Funds can also be used for transportation and ticket costs to Maryland or Washington, D.C. museums or live arts performances. Applications are being accepted now. Visit culturalartsboard.org to apply. And that wraps up today's program. Thank you for watching Kaleidoscope, produced in partnership with the Cultural Arts Board of Harford County and aired exclusively on Harford Cable Network. We hope you'll continue to tune into Harford County's Arts Connection. For Kaleidoscope, I'm Carolyn Black-Sotier.